Is your first reaction to what really has transpired today in Bangladesh? It's been a very volatile few days for the country, and now with Sheikh Hasina leaving Dhaka and also resigning, what lies ahead is a big question.
Perfectly. I think that's a big question everyone is concerned about that. But I think the first thing first is that it's a huge relief across sections of the Bangladeshi society, and a relief for hundreds of thousands of people that Sheikh Hasina has been brutalized, suppressed, killed, maimed over the last one decade. Remember that Sheikh Hasina is the leader who introduced for the first time in Bangladesh's history the concept enforced disappearances. There has been always cases like the random cases, but she was the one who systematically introduced enforced disappearances. Nearly 1,000 people was forcibly disappeared. Hundreds of families still don't know the whereabouts of their dear ones. In the last 2 to 3 weeks, she kills nearly 1,000 people. Many are overwhelming majority of them are young men and women, students. For what? So I think it's a huge relief for people who march to the Dhaka. Thousands, I would say in millions.
Do you believe the protests will now stop?
That's a premature assessment that whether protests should stop or not. But I think the student leaders made it abundantly clear that this is not the change of the government they wanted. They wanted a completely new directions of the society and politics. And another thing is that the big ticket corruption in the last 10 years. I mean, I'm a young man and I have never seen in my life the amount of money plundered from the country, looted from the country. And we often make the reference that if even the British was not able to do that much of money that the Sheikh Hasina's goons looted from the country. So these astronomical figures, billions of dollars. At least 2 businessmen from Bangladesh with no international business outfit. They made to the list of richest Singaporean businessmen, and they looted this money from Bangladesh. Yes. And they're Sheikh Hasina's man.
Okay. You're of course being extremely critical of Sheikh Hasina's regime and reign. But as far as these protests, of course, are concerned, Sultan Zakaria, was the method adopted correct? The kind of violence we've seen on the streets, now the protesters storming the presidential palace as well. Is the method correct that they've adopted?
Look, in the last 10 years, again, this is unprecedented in my lifetime, and also I've spoken many elderly people in their lifetime as well. The way Sheikh Hasina deployed the security law enforcement agencies and randomly killed protesters across party lines, it's unprecedented. And we just saw that in the last 2 weeks as well. In the span of 2 weeks, almost 700-800 people have been murdered, brutally murdered. And I would say 95% of them have been killed in the hands of the regime police and their paramilitia groups, Chhatra League. So I sincerely applaud the young people who, despite on the onslaught of this brutality, they stood first, their steadfastness, their perseverance to fight back and reclaim their rights is unthinkable. I mean, Bangladesh has buried many dictators over the last 70, 80 years, since 47. But I think this is the biggest one, the biggest fish that they caught. And it shows that the resilience and the...
Okay. And Sultan Zakaria, now with the army chief's statement, you must have heard what he had to say. What's the sense you're getting about what this interim government is going to look like, and which direction is Bangladesh now headed?
My brief take would be that you will not be able to go beyond the new social contract. There is a big consensus across party line, except the ruling Awami League, which has become almost like a pariah now, which will find really hard to survive in this environment. But other than that, I think the army chief cannot go beyond the new social contract, and students and the social forces will lead big time what is coming for the country.
Okay. Also, there are those who say now the army is going to rule by proxy. Is that correct?
Again, Bangladesh is unique in many respects. I think I know a lot of your colleagues see Bangladesh through the lens of the security and prism of the security prism. But I think Bangladesh army is unlike other neighboring army that you know of. It has. Of course, it has a volatile past. There had been coups and counter coups, but there was also a context. But I think now the army is more socially attuned to what the people in general think about, and we saw the statements from the army chief. He was consulting with the political parties, with civil society leaders, and I doubt very much that he can break this rule, because he will have a lot of resistance both within his own ranks and also from the society. So it's nearly impossible for him to enforce his own rule. Give even the number of people turned in to Dhaka's street today. I heard that almost like 10 million people.
But the big question, of course, is will Bangladesh be stable or not? India would want a very stable Bangladesh.
I mean, I respect what India wants, but Indian administrations made series of blunders over the last decade. Sheikh Hasina stole 3 national elections, and with the help, unfortunately, with the help of our Indian friends, Indian diplomats were scouting.
Well, I don't know how much India can help or not help in Bangladeshi elections. I think that's your internal issue. We certainly hope though that it's going to be a stable Bangladesh, and this is not going to be further spiraling into violence. That's a concern that I think many would have, Sultan Zakaria, because many are saying also that these protests are sponsored by external forces.
I think Bangladeshi people are also concerned what is happening across the borders because of the identity and etc. So it's mutual. It's not mutually exclusive.
Do you believe it's fair to say that these protests are sponsored by China or by the US?
I wouldn't say that. Bangladeshi people had legitimate grounds, and they were deprived of their voting rights for the last 10 years. There are economic concerns, mounting pressures on the inflation and etc. So I think it's a host of factors that played a part. And I mean, there are grievances, and when the government is not legitimate, then you risk losing it all. But I think India, as a responsible country, as a responsible neighbor, has a lot to play. I mean, in this situation, a responsible neighborhood can help Bangladesh stabilize the situation. And I'm not sure Bangladesh will be destabilized to extent that it would pose any security dilemma for India.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.